Hi, I'm James Kotecki, and we are in the C-Space studio here at CES 2020. And here with us is Grace Dolan, VP of Home Entertainment Integrated Marketing at Samsung Electronics America. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So first of all, I think a lot of people know what Samsung is, but can you please define your title and your role in the organization as if you were to introduce yourself to someone here at CES?
Yeah, so I'm the head of marketing for the home entertainment division. I think the simplest way to describe that is Chief Consumer Officer for home entertainment, right? My job is to be obsessed with the consumer and make sure that their experience with our product is fantastic in every way and to communicate that.
And Samsung is huge at CES. It always is. You have a huge presence here.
Yeah, this is our coming out party every year. We introduce our 2020 lineup, or whatever year that is, and we always try to make a really, really big splash every year. And this year's no different.
And I know you have. So we're here to talk about gaming. So why did Samsung get into gaming? What are you doing in the gaming space that you're excited to talk about?
Yeah, so it's funny. A couple years ago, we were really looking at the category. We were seeing a flat market, and we started talking to consumers about why they were not upgrading their TVs. And for the most part, it's because consumers thought that their TVs were fine. Mm-hmm. They're like, my TV is fine. The one exception, though, was with passion areas. So in the areas of sports, gaming, streaming, we realized that if their experience with our product was not good, it actually impacted their game performance. So for example, you're a first-person shooter, and the frame rates on my TV can't keep up with the frame rates on your console, you're dead.
Yeah, you're gonna get
sniped.
That
was really, you're gonna get sniped, and that was an impetus for consumers to actually upgrade their TVs. And so for us, we're like, gosh, we really need to get to know this consumer, and we need to enter gaming. Mm-hmm. So, the first thing we did, we didn't really know that much about this world, and we found a really fantastic partner. We partnered with Xbox. A couple reasons. One, they're an expert in gaming. They have been for years. We wanted to be authentic. We wanted to make sure that we were coming in not as like a little side hustle thing, but we're just trying to have a meaningful relationship with this consumer, and they helped us along. The biggest contribution I think they made for us was just helping us understand gamers' needs. So what are the things that are the most important to gamers as far as the TV console experience goes? And we started a completely different innovation roadmap as a result of it. So today, and you'll see it on the showroom floor, we have the best gaming TVs available in the industry. We have G-Sync, we have FreeSync, we have the fastest refresh rates, the lowest input lag, we have auto game mode. I mean, we have all of these features that we've incorporated as a result of just understanding the gamer, and we have so many more things to come. Right?
And how are gamers reacting to this?
I think the thing about gamers is that they're an extremely savvy set of consumers. They get it. They totally get it. They get that this product needs to work in order for them to have a good experience, and they get that we have a very sincere and authentic mission to do that. That we're really dedicated and committed to having gamers love their experience.
I know that's a mission that you've been promoting here at CES. You've done a panel, I believe, How Are Brands Engaging with Esports and Gaming,
yes.
Which is what we're talking about here. So what were some of the takeaways from that?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is when you look at the world of gaming today, I think the world still thinks that it's niche. And it's really not. There's almost 70% of Americans that would self-describe as a gamer. That means more Americans are playing video games than not playing video games, which means this is now just mainstream entertainment. For a brand not to get involved with gaming in some way or gamers is, it's a miss, and you're not making the same cultural impact that you could be.
So esports is obviously a huge part of gaming. It's a growing part of gaming. What kind of thoughts does Samsung have for brands who want to kind of get into the esports arena?
It's the same. It's like not the same, obviously, but it's very similar to traditional sports. The way to think about it really is, there's a broad spectrum of genres in gaming. So you really have to understand the leagues, understand the games, understand the fans. So someone who is a fan of NBA 2K is going to be completely different from a fan of Overwatch, right? So when you're making a decision to support one or the other league, that kind of demographic and psychographic and behavioral profile of that fan is going to be wildly different. So you have to really understand the games and then just understand your brand and your target audience and where is the match the best in those two kind of audience profiles.
And how does Samsung play in the kind of esports space, and kind of where do you see that going? You mentioned about gaming in general that there's a lot of exciting things to come. I imagine esports is part of that roadmap and that thought process.
So we're still dipping our toes. For us, we've had a more general approach because we think that our TV offers an experience that no matter what type of game you play, you're going to have a great experience, whether if it's RPG and graphics rich or really, really fast moving, first person shooter. I don't think we want to commit to just one. So we've had a little bit more of a general approach. On our SSD business, however, we have...
Can you just define that acronym for everybody watching? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Solid state drives. Yeah. I just assume, we're talking to gamers, they all know. But it significantly improves the performance of PC gaming.
We're talking to Grace Dolan of Samsung Electronics America about gaming. 5G obviously it must be a huge part of where you're thinking about how all this is going and how people are going to be getting this content.
I'm obsessed with 5G. I'm so excited about 5G. So one of the things that I always talk about is how consumers are changing, and at the end of the day, consumers still want all the same things, right? They want a good price, they want a good product, they want convenience. But for me, my biggest observation is how we're defining those things. So your definition of a good product, and so much of it is now defined by a good experience, and your definition of convenience is completely different. And the example I love to give is like with gaming and Blockbuster, right? Do you remember when you used to go to Blockbuster and rent games?
I have a hazy memory of this, but yes, it was a reality.
Yeah, it was a reality. And at the time, it was super convenient that you could go to one place and find all the games that you wanted and just bring it home that day and bring it back whenever you wanted. And then all of a sudden, there was GameFly and Netflix. And then, they were delivering games to your house. And you could just stick it back in the little packet and mail it back. And then now there's streaming, right? So you can get games through Steam now. And 5G is going to enable that times a million, right? So access to an unlimited number of games, bandwidth, no more bandwidth constraints, right? So right now, you have to wait like an hour for your game to download if you want to play a game, right? Imagine that in just seconds. And imagine you're looking at a screen, you're not even connected, everything's wireless, thanks to 5G.
Yes.
And you're looking at a screen with all the games in the world, and it won't take an hour to download the game. You've never played it, but you're just like, why not? It'll just take a second. Right now, there's hesitation, right? You look at a game and you know it's going to take a while to come.
Commitment.
It's a commitment. So you're like, maybe not. I'll just stick to the game that I love. There's going to be tremendous impact to the industry, so much more exploration. There's going to be, new games tried, old games tried. It's going to have a really, really, really great impact on the category and the industry.
Have you personally gotten more into gaming as you've delved into this space?
You know what? I am not a gamer, but I love gamers. I love them because they're so passionate, and I love any consumer that loves what they do. And I'm a loser that way.
Well, we were talking before this. We were talking before the interview. I have young kids, and you do too. And I imagine that the reality for our kids and the games that they're going to be able to play, maybe I'll be able to introduce them to some of my favorite games, and they'll be able to play games that I could never even possibly dream of.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because my husband games, and we're all already starting to see a very strong interest from the kids. Like they are already starting to gravitate towards certain types of games. I already know what kind of gamer they may turn into. It's funny at such a young age that you already start seeing that interest.
Yeah, and as a marketer who's obviously getting more into the gaming space, understanding those different divides is very important.
Yeah, I mean, completely different sets of consumers there.
Gaming, as you mentioned in the earlier statistic that I think 70% of Americans are playing games. However, gaming has this stereotype of being a young white male thing to do. So as a marketer, how do you look about broadening that and thinking about diversity as you're going about your work?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of stereotypes about gamers in general, like the traditional niche, impression of just a bunch of kids, white male kids, or overgrown white male kids living in their mom's basements in their 30s.
Mom's basement always comes up in these analogies.
I know, and it's terrible because, right, 70% of people in the United States are actually gaming. I think we have a tremendous responsibility as marketers to start appropriately portraying who the gamer is in our communication, our advertising. For the most part, we like to feature gameplay in our creative, and we're making a concerted effort to say, hey, let's feature more players, and let's make sure that they represent what players actually look like today, which is a really broad set of genders, ethnic, nationality, like everybody is gaming now.
You used to work at Johnson & Johnson, which seems like a very far cry from Samsung Electronics America and gaming, but I wonder, are there lessons you learned there that you apply to your work now?
Yeah, I think the one lesson was always put the consumer first. Always put the consumer first, and you can't go wrong in your decision. And that's what we do at Samsung, and it's been the guiding star, the North Star.
Grace Dolan, thank you so much for sharing your North Star with us, Samsung Electronics America.
It was great to be here.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for watching. I'm James Kotecki, your host in the C-Space studio here at CES 2020. Very excited to say that more great conversations are coming your way, so stay tuned.